Hey everyone, just so you know, the following video is a clip from a show I actually do on AFTV. The full link for the video is in the description below. Thank you for your continued support, really appreciate it.
Now, speaking of total football, I actually want to bring up something that Javi has said. Javi, love to Javi, by the way. He's mentioned that he's a big fan of the show and loves the work you do, Graham. We saw him out in the States, in New Jersey, came to the United game, and he's been on Fan Zone. You can all be on Fan Zone, by the way, by downloading the AFTV Plus app and joining us straight after games. Now, Javi, he's been joining us for a long time now. Always love his thoughts. And I asked him about the 3-4-3 diamond, and he had something very interesting to say. Have a little listen to this.
Did it look to you like a 3-4-3 diamond in that second half? Like, I saw Partey very much at the base, Rice and Ødegaard either side, and then Havertz playing off Eddie. So we saw even a second tactical tweak in that game to what we saw in the first half. Arteta's really just trying to give clubs different problems.
Yeah, Rice, as we saw, was drifting more towards, that wide line, sort of close to Martinelli. So that was kind of interesting to see. But funnily enough, the 3-4-3 diamond was actually employed by Cruyff in the early 90s, and that's how Barcelona and probably Mikel grew up playing. That's why PK wore the number 3 shirt, because the 3 was the middle center back in their setup. So it is something that he grew up with, and it is something that he is familiar with, the 3-4-3 diamond. Usually utilized when you play against a 4-4-2, you're able to have numerical superiority, and you have 3 defenders who can target the 2 strikers. That way, if one wins that individual duel, you don't have somebody running in on a 1v1. You still have that extra cover, but you get that extra man in midfield.
So I found that really interesting. So I go and do my research, and here we are, and he's spot on. And I never watched this team. I wasn't born. But I had a little look. This graphic comes from Barca Universal. 91-92 team, Johan Cruyff's Barcelona, and they have it the diamond, or a 3-1-3-3. But again, you've got kind of the width from the front 3, and then you've got Guardiola, who's a 20-year-old. He came in from La Masia this season, and Barcelona go on to win the Champions League and La Liga, and we're a fantastic side under Johan Cruyff. And I just think I love tapping into history of football tactics to see where managers are getting this kind of inspiration from, because actually Graham Potter did a similar thing at the very start of last season with Brighton. They won 2-1 at Manchester United. And I never really understood it, but now, thanks to Javi and other people's input, I'm sort of understanding more the history and where this is all coming from. So if we just have a little look at Arsenal and how that compares, we'll just go to the next graphic as well here. On the left, I've got the first half, and on the right, I've got the first 30 minutes of the second half. Now, if you look here at this graphic on the left, Rice very central next to Saliba. The reason is Partey's inverting from right back, so his average position is always going to be skewed slightly. By the way, this comes from Stat Zone, and it's an influence graphic that basically shows you the bigger the name, the more influence they had on the game, but also it puts them in their average position. So Partey's always going to be slightly skewed because he's coming from right back, but Rice a little more central, and look at Havertz in this spot here. Much more on the left, sort of closer to Timber and Martinelli. But when you look at this graphic here on the right, Rice is far more out the left. His average position is actually away from the centre circle. Partey not too dissimilar, but look at Havertz, much closer to Ødegaard, because he picked up that number 10 spot that you've talked about there, Graham, in your brilliant analysis before. And I just want to show how, if we go back to the tactical pad for a second, I just want to show here on this graphic how that 4-3-3 went from this 3-2-4-1 or 3-2-5 that you've broken down brilliantly, but then would also change to this kind of diamond, especially more in the second half. And it lends into everything that you were just saying about tactical flexibility. We have seen Arteta go with an 11 we totally didn't expect, go with that 11 in a shape that we've looked at, but then evolve that further in the game to something we've not seen. And there are negatives to the performance that we're going to talk about in a sec, but I do want to just pay credit to Arteta and the fact that he is trying to evolve this team and give us something differently, and it's about long-term benefit for this team, and in the short term it didn't cost us, and we've tried something different.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at that, it gives you the 6 lanes up high, which I've talked about. They can all get forward into 6 lanes because you've got like teams now sitting in low blocks, which at Forest are one of those teams that do that, who literally then condense the middle of the pitch. So you want to stretch the pitch, and also you want to have extra lanes, and also you want to you want to have a system that's fluid with the movement, so they never know where you're going to be moving to. The team, Forest, make no mistake, would have prepared for Arsenal all week, expecting a similar shape to what they saw in the Community Shield, and obviously to be able to do that, it gives him a march on the teams who are playing in this sort of style. Make no mistake, breaking down low blocks is not always easy.